again, for people who are like new to the scene or like coming in or whatever, they're always met with this like fraudulent force field, right? And what I mean by that, I'm going to use someone else, one of our other favorite people as an example here, someone like Marty, right? Say someone like Marty, and he's
Lazerchickenzzz from Splice / Mad Lions, if people don't know.
He's by no means alone, but he's the most amusing example in my opinion. This guy was attending like esports panel as like a quote unquote expert in 2016. For anyone who doesn't know, Splice's first ever split in the EU LCS, now the LEC, was spring split of 2016, and this guy was voluntarily showing up to panels on like, should you invest in esports and blah 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 in 2016.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually think Splice is a good investment. Like, you should get.
By the way, that's essentially, if people don't know, like when the people who are the crypto guys just tell you that the next hot crypto is the one that they obviously own and don't disclose. Like, well, they've got an obvious reason to tell you that, haven't they? You know. And
you know the best thing about this as well, as I said, this guy, he's one of the worst offenders. He was showing up to any invite he could get, like tugging on the coattails of his buddies, like, please get me into PAX East, blah blah, like doing these horrendous. Just knowledge void nonsense, just absolute garbage talks about esports. He then put out an article about 2 weeks ago saying, I'm a CEO and I know nothing about esports or whatever. And then basically the bulk of the article was talking about how no one in esports, or like no one who owns esports orgs or runs esports orgs, generally speaking, knows anything about esports or anything about how to run a company, was essentially the gist of it.
That was one day after he was basically saying everyone's just having a go at ECI to jump on the bandwagon.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, so he's like, ECI sounds good, and no one knows what the fuck they're doing. It's like, pick one.
But imagine how dishonest a person you have to be to simultaneously know that you are a fraud, and to be just desperately trying to get your foot in every possible door, to not just, it's not just benefiting you, right? It's not like, oh, if I do this thing that I don't deserve. Like, for example, you might be a smart guy who thinks you deserve to get into Harvard, and maybe through connections, even though you didn't get any qualifications, you get snuck through the back door into Harvard, right? And then maybe you can even succeed at Harvard. That's not even what he was doing. He wasn't doing it just to prop himself up. He's actually speaking to other people on the industry. He's essentially there to educate these people about the esports scene. And he's doing so knowing that he is a complete fraud and he doesn't know anything about esports. And that is pretty much par for the course, to be honest, with a lot of the, the bottom line is, if you ever want to know anything about esports, just do, in my opinion, just do your own research. Never go to a panel, never to show up to anything unless you've actually really researched the people behind it and you're generally interested in that individual.
Except for this podcast episode.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What we're saying is gospel, by the way. But then also, like, Splice rebrands to Mad Lions and has more success, more partners, more competitive success. Like, they've actually dialed in on a good fan base. Like, that's...
He's claiming all of that, except he's claiming everything, by the way. This is what's hilarious, is that the day he left, everything upticked for that organization. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but, I think he may or may not have something to do with that. But he is trying to claim every single victory. He is literally living vicariously through that org since he's been gone, and doesn't really have any connection to any of the people that were still there. The only semi-decent piece that was ever involved in Splice while he was there, as far as I am concerned, was Peter Dunn, who's not even there anymore, and he's still trying to claim the success. So that's just embarrassing.